Subject-verb agreement is a very tricky part of grammar. But what exactly is subject-verb agreement? Simply put, it means that the subject and verb in a sentence should be in agreement with each other. Now, what do we mean by agreement? In other words, they both must be singular or they both must be plural. You can't have a singular subject with a plural verb or a plural subject with a singular verb. But wait, we still have a bit of a problem. How do we know the singular and plural forms of the subjects and the verbs? Usually, we know that the plural form of the subject word car is cars and the singular form of the subject is car. So how is this different from the verb form? Verbs don't follow this pattern though. Adding an S to a verb doesn't make it a plural. For example, look at these words. Talk, talks. Which one is singular and which one is the plural? How do we find this out? Let's try this. Ask yourself which form of the verb you will use with the word they and which form of the verb you would use with the he or she. Come on, let's give it a shot. They talk, he talks, she talks. Here we see that since he and she are singular pronouns, then walks is a singular verb. The word they is plural, hence talk is the plural form of the word. So remember, what we usually call singular and plural is just the opposite when it comes to subject-verb agreement. It is very important to also remember that the subject and verb must agree in number. This is the cornerstone rule that forms the background of the concept. The subject-verb agreement has to be followed so that we have good grammar. Let's look at a few sentences. They runs 4 kilometers every day. He run 4 kilometers every day. Something doesn't sound right there, does it? How about this one? The cat drinks milk every evening. The cats drink milk every evening. Much better, right? This is the first and most important rule to keep in mind while employing subject-verb agreement. But it's not the only one. When a sentence begins with there is or there are or here is or here are, the subject and verb are inverted, meaning the subject will always be placed after the verb. So, care needs to be taken to identify it correctly. Let's look at a few sentences. There is a pen on the table. There are pens on the table. Here is the document you asked for. Here are the documents you asked for. It is clear that are and is are the verbs in these sentences. And if you pay close attention, then you'll notice that the subject pen and documents in the above sentences come only after the verb. The subject, however, does not come before the verb. Instead, the subject in this kind of sentence comes after the verb. So you must look for it after the verb. Let's look at this sentence again. There is a pen on the table. Notice the subject pen comes after the verb is, and since the subject pen is singular, the verb is also singular. What about this sentence? Here are the documents you asked for. The subject documents comes only after the verb are, and since the subject documents is plural, the verb is also plural. This is also the case while creating questions. Sometimes creating a question will cause the subject to follow the verb. Like we did previously, identify the subject and then choose the verb that agrees with it. Let's look at an example. What is the problem? What are the problems? Where is the subject and where is the verb? In both these questions, the verb comes before the subject. Did you get that right? There are many more rules and guidelines to subject-verb agreement which we will look into in the next session. Until then, thank you for joining us. I'll see you soon.